Quiet is kept. Telling the truth will always save your life. Your life will be saved in the end when you accept the truth, and you keep it real with yourself. And what is that time out? Like it's saying that if you ain't got to be real with nobody else in this world, but a lot of times you have to be real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself, and in being real with yourself, you won't even understand how much power that you'll start to gain and confidence that you'll gain. A lot of people, they are very unconfident, and then they're also at the same time they can be extremely insecure. And this is just natural. So it's not about somebody being condemned or stuff. And everybody is more likely going through this in lifetime, myself included, everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of times where you start to gain that confidence and where you actually start to be more fulfilled with this inside yourself is when you start keeping it real with yourself. Keeping it real with yourself. And oftentimes, keeping it real with yourself can be one of the most difficult things that you can ever do in life, damn near more than anything else, because oftentimes when you keep it real with yourself, it's almost like you're fighting against who you want to be or who the world tells you you need to be in comparison to who you truly are as an individual. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not until you are able to do that, you are going to constantly find yourself in situations and scenarios and places in your life that you really do not want to be. You might find yourself in a very, very dark and depressed state and you don't understand why. You might find yourself around people that don't treat you right or people that do not tickle your fancy. And it's not about condemning these people, but it's about yourself as a person somewhere deep down inside that you want to move forward in life. You want to progress and you don't understand why. And sometimes the reason why is because you're not keeping it real with yourself. If you don't keep it real with yourself, you can't keep it real with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And so oftentimes you also more likely cannot deal with reality and understand life from the perspective of what it is in comparison to what you want it to be. So you oftentimes will find other individuals or other scenarios, other situations that could potentially play into that lie in comparison to the truth about what the reality of the situation is. And on the surface, it can feel good. At first, it can feel good, but you'll naturally start to realize in time that you're unhappy. You'll naturally understand in time that you don't like the people that's around you. The people around you are not healthy. And naturally in time, you'll find out that the careers that you're choosing are not fulfilling. Naturally, you'll find yourself in situations and scenarios where you're just in a dark, depressed state. And the world might think that you're good, but you're not good, you know? And so with all that being said, oftentimes, one of the biggest reasons why it's hard to tell the truth is because sometimes it requires us to take some type of personal accountability. It requires us to, at some level, in some way, shape, or form, we may feel some type of shame and guilt because of who we are. Shame is real big about who you are. And not only that, sometimes you got to take responsibility for what you have done in other people's lives and the damage and stuff. And then you also, the other situation that might be very difficult, especially for people who are kind of like more codependent, it's very difficult to accept the fact that the individuals, the people who did you wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like the individual that was not, those people that were not right for you and that harmed you, and their whole job in your life was to protect you, was to help you. And you got to look at that person in a different light than what it is, or these people, or whatever the case. That is very, very devastating for a lot of people, myself included. For most people, that damn near could break you. So, because this also means that you got to start to disconnect with a lot of people that you don't want to, and you can feel like you're alone. But this is where that truth comes in, because yes, you're going to find yourself in an isolated space. And sometimes that loneliness at first is very scary. But I guarantee you, in time, when you went through enough hell, you'll understand the importance and the significance of that silence, that peace where you don't have a lot of people around, because you'll start to realize it's like a lot of times it's not only yourself, but you oftentimes will be reacting to the environment that's around you. And so, and I'm talking about like even from when you've been a child, you're reacting in some way, shape, or form. You had to put on a certain mask. You had to develop a certain type of image for everybody, even if it wasn't true inside. Because in not doing so, think about the societal consequences of people looking down on you, people disrespecting you, people doing this and this and this. People don't want to mess with you. You by yourself and you don't feel like you have allies. That stuff is very, very scary in general. But the thing you got to understand that in life in general, it's like the principle from, God says that you're going to reap what you sow. And that's true with everything. For anything that you do in life, for any gain, oftentimes you have to make a sacrifice. Yeah, like if you want money, you oftentimes have to go somewhere, unless you can, get your own money. You have to do some type of work to get money in some way, shape, or form. Okay, you have to sacrifice your time, your energy, and focusing on things that you might not necessarily want to do at the moment. And you got to sacrifice the things that you really do want to do. You got to sacrifice your time in order to gain. In order to have productive relationships, a lot of times you gotta, it's a give and take. So you can't be selfish. You got to give them, or you got to compromise, and they also have to do the same thing with you. You got to be humble enough to understand the significance of the person that you with, in comparison to feeling like you better than that individual, and then you start thinking the grass is greener somewhere else until you go over there and you realize that it's not. It's not. The grass is green where you at if you do the right thing to fix it, and you take care of your lawn. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is powerful and it's in your favor, in the sense that once you start to accept the truth about what the reality of who you are is in the situations, scenarios, and you take responsibility for what you have done in people's lives, and you will start to gain tremendous confidence and power. And with that being said, you'll gain a lot of strength too. Because once you start accepting these truths, what you can start to do is actively try to fix these truths. And what I'm saying is, you can start to actively try to do better in life. You can actively start to go out there and apologize to those who you harmed or you hate. I mean, or you did something too. A lot of people, they don't want to do that stuff because it's out of pride, it's out of ego. They don't want to see or be seen like, and they don't even want the person that they did wrong. They don't want that person to be. It's like a lot of people. When I say humility, and ego and pride, it's like they don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, taint that image that they have of themselves and what everybody else wants to believe. They don't want, in any way, shape, or form, want to feel like another person is more powerful than them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they do not want to, especially if it's a person that they deem to be beneath them. Again, based off of societal standards, based off of the ego, based off of what you have. A lot of people that got a lot, a person might have a lot of money, cars, clothes, hoes, and everything else in between. And they did something wrong to a person that never had none of that stuff. And they feel like that was better than the person. And so ego and pride stops them from going over there and making amends and actually truly, sincerely apologizing. A lot of people, they will apologize, but they're fake apologies. Half the times they half-ass apologies where they're not even taking any type of responsibility for what they're doing. Or the other caveat is, they'll apologize, but they'll just keep on doing whatever they want to do. And so, with all that being said, with accepting the truth, it means sometimes you got to accept pain. You know what I'm saying? Again, with anything in life, the pain is actually a beautiful thing that you go through. And I'm not saying you going out there actively looking for pain. What I'm saying is, the pain that we endure is important because it helps us find our purpose and why we're here on this earth. It helps us find who we are as individuals. It's because when you go through that pain, you experience a lot of trauma. And so you start to run away from yourself because of that reason. And you start to lie to yourself because you're trying to avoid that trauma. You don't want other people to see you. And again, you might be in a state where you don't want other people to walk away from you. You don't want other people to look at you in a certain type of way. You don't want to look at yourself in a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because it triggers that shame. It triggers that guilt. But the more that you refuse to accept it, the more you run away from it. It's the deeper of a hole that you put yourself in. Now you in this deep, deep, dark place. Now you feel like you always got to have it. You always got to be around certain individuals. You're afraid that people going to find out what you do or whatever. You're afraid. You're just afraid that people ain't going to like you. People going to reject you. People going to bop. You're afraid of not going after your goals and your dreams. You're afraid of a lot of stuff. And the reason being is because the false self that you've created, knowing damn well that false self cannot endure all the trials and tribulations of others who truly go out there and be who they are. The reason being is because you got to be real. The only way that you can make it and truly get real far and start to actually be in a place where you are healthy and stuff like that, and you getting the things that you want in life, you have to endure the pain. You got to go through the trauma. But that's why that pain is so beautiful, because even though you in a lot of hurt, it's going to take some time, but you start to work through all that stuff that you've gone through in your life, all the stuff that you've endured, all the trauma, all the hell, and it takes time. Trust and believe me, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, over one night. This could take time. But for a lot of people, that stuff is scary and they're not willing to go through it. But if you are, the first thing you got to do is be real with yourself and be real with who you are as an individual. You got to be real with yourself. Because the moment you start being real with yourself, you can be real with the people around you. And the moment that you're real with the people around you and real with the environments that's around you, your environments will change. That are more so fitted with what you really want, not what you want everybody to make you out to be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like now you'll be able to have more self confidence. So even if people come up against you, you already know the truth about who you are. Nobody can come up to you and tell you who you are. And the truth of who you are is the God is, is the God in you. It's what God put inside of you. People, they are not fulfilled because they don't have God. God intentionally put holes in people that's filled for him. A lot of people that say, no, that's not true, da da da, whatever, whatever, whatever. But the people that know what I'm talking about, they know what I'm talking about. And you can look at the individuals who's continuously denying this. I'm telling you, look in their background, not the mask that they're showing you. I guarantee you, a lot of these people, they still be dealing with depression, this, and it's not to condemn these people. All I'm saying is they're saying, no, that's not space for God. And then you look at their background, you look at like how they truly feel. And it might be hard, but truly look at people and watch them. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to go down that road? So I'm telling you, but that space that's there, that you got that emptiness, it's for God. And if you don't ever look inside yourself, you don't find the truth about who you are as an individual, you'll never find God. And therefore, you'll never find yourself. You'll never be confident. You'll never be able to go do the things and be courageous enough to go do the things that you really want to do. So, but with all that being said, the moment you start being honest with yourself, you can start to really um, be in a space where you feel real shameful. And the thing is, sometimes you just got to go through that emotion. People, they run from shame. Sometimes you got to go through it and endure it. You got to accept responsibility for what you've done and what you have allowed other people to done in your life. And you try to do your best not to judge yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even though the world will probably judge you for what you have done. The thing is, you got to understand that just because the world judges you doesn't mean that God judges you. Just because the world judges you or look down on you doesn't mean that he does. And it doesn't. And I'm telling you, after a while, you won't care. You'll realize that the opinion and the fickleness of the world is fickle. These people will switch up on you in a drop of a dime. You out here spending your whole life trying to help people, trying to paint a certain picture to people, and they will snake you in a minute. They will throw you away in a minute. And that stuff will make you feel even lower because it's like you sometimes will almost damn near be loyal to the people, and the people will just turn on you with the quickness. The moment that the people feel like you're doing stuff that they don't want you to do, they will build you up just to tear you down tomorrow. And so that's why you should not be built up for people. And you got to be wary of the applause and the acceptance and the validation, because in the same vein that they give it to you to build you up, they will take it away. Look at how they do these stars nowadays. Look how they do people. They will build you up today to tear you down tomorrow. But it's harder, and I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely difficult, if at all, that people can tear you down when you true and you real with yourself. When you true and real with yourself, again, with anything that you want to gain self-confidence. You want to be more so grounded and not as insecure. The thing that oftentimes you got to give up is a lot of times you got to give up the world. You got to give up people, because people are going to reject you from that reason. And you just got to be ready to endure that, not be afraid of it. And I'm telling you, at first it's fearful, but oftentimes the most scary part about doing anything is taking the first step. It's the anticipation of it. It's not the actual act. It's the anticipation. I always give this example, like when you were younger. When I was younger, I used to be bad in school. So, but what the teachers would do, they'll call my mom and my stepdad, and then when they picked up the phone, they was like, "Oh, you're gonna get an ass whooping when you get home," and so you'll be scared. And so when I was like, especially like it was like lunchtime or early in the morning, you'll be dreading going home because you're scared of that ass whooping that you're about to get, because your parents said it or whatever the case may be. And then when you go home and you actually get it, you'll realize that the punishment was not as bad as the doggone anticipation of the punishment, the anxiety of thinking about what's to come. So that's the same thing that you got to understand, that sometimes you might be more afraid of the anxiety. You're more, that's much more worse than the actual act in of itself. Trust and believe me. But when you start to be real with yourself, you can start to pull out why you behave the way that you do. You'll start to dig more into who you are as an individual, and you'll start to uncover old wounds. Oftentimes, we as humans, or in general, God, I think more likely like created a part in our brains where we can block out a lot of trauma that we've endured. We might not even understand that that's what it is, but it's like sometimes stuff that happens in your life can be so traumatic is that your brain literally blocks it out, and and then you will start to develop certain type of survival techniques to work around whatever trauma that you just endured. And at the same time, your brain will also blot out that experience so you don't have to consciously and actively think about it all the time. Because if you did, it's like I think your brain will know we gotta go do. We can't live like this. And so sometimes your brain will blot things out and then you'll start behaving a certain type of way, and then you'll grow for so many years behaving this way, and you don't understand why. You don't realize it was a survival technique that you learned because of whatever traumatic experience that you had experienced in the past. But it's only when you start to go work through your trauma, you start to figure out who you are as an individual, and you start keeping it real with yourself, that you will start to uncover these things about why you're behaving the way that you do. And then once you start doing that, now the grip that people more than likely that probably had over your life, because a lot of people, they'll try to they'll intentionally induce trauma in your life. They'll intentionally do things towards you so that you stay in this state where you're broken. They'll intentionally try to break you so that they'll have control and dominion over you. Because when you're broken like this, they will invalidate you. And with this invalidation, they're trying to force you not to ever look inside. Because again, people know, and that damn devil know, the moment that you truly stop listening to them and you start to look inside, they know damn well it's a wrap, because you're going to find God. They know you're going to find the truth about who you are. So that's why they're trying to paint an image of who you are that's not who you are. That's why they do the things that they do. And as long as they keep you in this state, they'll have control over you. Okay. The society as a whole does the exact same thing. They create programs, they create things that intentionally breaks the doggone population down to what it is. Now, these very same individuals can come in on the back end and start to implement programs pretending that they're there to help, when in actuality, they are the big bad wolf. They're acting like they're an angel of light, but they're not. They were the ones that created the programs that caused the trauma in the very first place. But they're going to displace that, and they're going to say another group of people, they're going to point somewhere else and say that these people are the reason why you went through all that trauma. Now, our attention is so much focused on something that we're not supposed to be. The real perpetrator is playing games. It's a magician trick behind the scenes. And as long as these people have us focusing somewhere that we do not need to be, we are still in a broken state, i.e. they still can control us. Now they set up the standard of validation of beauty or whatever. They run our lives. So we have to, in order to truly be validated, we have to be validated by the people that is our damn oppressor. They are our harmer. This happens in family, and again, this happens at a society as a large. But you can understand this more clearly from a personal level, from family. Like parents will do this, grandparents or whoever guardians are, or community leaders. They will intentionally do things, and they will break you on purpose. They will do these things on purpose so that they'll always have control over you. People, they will intentionally raise you or put you in situations in your life. They're never going to truly give you everything that you need to succeed. They will always have things that they will not tell you everything about life. The reason being is because the moment that they do, they know that they can't control people no more. And because they can't control them, like they can't have no power or anything like that. And people, they feel weak they don't have a true sense of self. So this is how people make themselves feel better. It's the power that they can potentially get out there. And oftentimes, because they don't look at themselves as truly who they are, they have to displace who they are onto everybody else to break people so they can have complete and utter control and dominion over people. So people don't know the truth about who they are. And as long as people don't know the truth about who they are, they cannot validate themselves. So they have to rely on whoever the person in power is to validate them. And that person will only validate you once you do whatever they want you to do. You are only successful when you look this way. You're only successful when you do this. You're only this when you this. But it's not true whatsoever. These people are liars. They some damn liars. They're liars. They're trying to project all negativity that they truly feel about themselves onto you. They're trying to break you on purpose, and they want to keep you broken on purpose. They intentionally don't allow you to heal. They intentionally do not allow you to have resources and things of that nature to truly have a productive, independent life. Why? It's because the moment that happens, they have no more power and control over you. They can't have that. So they got to keep you broken. But the moment that you start to realize who you are, that's the only way you get up out of these cycles, because you can't see. You when they create these doggone illusions for everybody, these emotional illusions. And as long as you in that illusion, you can't see the forest through the trees. You don't know nothing about nothing. And then the oppressors is trying to claim that you're the problem. They always got to dump all this negativity up on here. And they talking about stuff that has absolutely nothing to deal with who you truly are, but they're trying to project certain things so they can keep people in a state of brokenness. They do this stuff on purpose. And the only way that you see it is when you healed. The only way that you see it is when you start to understand who you are. When you know who you are, and who God tells you who you are, when God validates you, when God accepts you, you do not give two rats asses about who in the hell that doesn't. You do not care. It doesn't matter anymore. And that's where they do not want you to get. You don't care. It's not that you putting on a front. It's not that you acting. You don't truly care. The reason being is because when you work through the things that you've been through, and you know who you are, you don't have to paint a picture for people. People can believe what they want. You already know what it is. But in all, you don't care. It's not like you'll never care. You don't. It's not like you care to a certain degree. But for a large part, you are able to break things up, break them up in such a way where you can understand that where you need, like, maybe validation is important, or the perception of how people see things is important. In the same vein, you understand for a large portion of time, it doesn't really matter what people, because it's not what people's opinions are and how people do their things and how they project and who they are onto you. People, they be insecure about themselves, so they want to make sure that you insecure. Some of these people, you'll realize they lack self-awareness so severely. And what I'm saying with self-awareness is they don't understand who they are. They don't understand what they're going through. And so they will look at you, and some people will truly think that you're the problem. They will truly think that they see all these negative things about you when truthfully it's them. You be like, I don't understand why people see me this way. It's because it's not you, it's them. But a lot of people, they lack self-awareness so severely that they truly think it's you. And so you will not be able to have the confidence and the strength to start to remove yourself from certain individuals, certain atmospheres, certain places, and things of that nature. Is because you're so doggone afraid about being alone. You're afraid about being exposed to a certain degree. You're afraid that your lies and whatever you've done in the past is going to catch up with you. But the fact of the matter is, this is a way where people still control you. That devil keeps you in chains just like this. Because as long as you are running away from the truth, the devil will hold that up over your head to control you. And other people, just like the damn devil, they will do the exact same thing. They will use this as a way to control you. This is why sometimes you look in the the Hollywood and stuff and the entertainment. I don't know if it's 100% 100% true, but they know that they can control people who are people in Hollywood or in large positions and high platforms if they expose their dirt. They know that that's why, if you look at J. Edgar Hoover, this is a government, but J. Edgar Hoover was the FBI director for a long period of time. Since the 20s, he was the first one who started it. It's from the 20s to whatever time he died. I think he died in the 70s or maybe in the 90s. I forgot. But J. Edgar Hoover, he was super powerful. He was more powerful than a lot of presidents. Why? It's because of the information that man had on everybody. So he can really go in there and bully presidents. He could bully Congress people. He can bully because he knew the dirt that people was doing, and he threatened to expose them if they didn't capitulate and they didn't do what he wanted them to do. And they do that, in Hollywood. You do stuff, they catch you, or they make you do certain things so that if you that you always controllable, because they'll just show what they did, or whatever evil you did or whatever you did to get to where you at. So they're gonna always control you. So that's what you got to understand. And so they understand that people are afraid of the truth, and they're afraid to be exposed by people and people to turn and reject them. So that's why it's so important to understand who you are as an individual and start to work through what you have done. And I'm telling you, your self-esteem will start to increase so much more from the fact that you are, your self-esteem, because you'll have low self-esteem for what you've done to other people. Because you feel like you're a bad person. You feel like you ain't deserving. You can put, like, a lot of people, they put on so many doggone masks to try to act like it's something different. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of these people, they suffering in silence, because oftentimes people will do stuff that makes their flesh feel good, but their soul suffer. So they will do things that they know is wrong and immoral. And again, it's not about condemnation. Everybody does it. It's not about making people feel bad, but it's about understanding what it is. But, everybody, and myself included, but, they know that they've done stuff to other people. And in the moment, it felt good, but the soul hurts. It could be like you betrayed somebody, and maybe may or not those people may or may not know it that you betrayed them, but your soul know it, and like you feel terrible inside, even if you try to push it down. A lot of people, again, they run away from themselves so much that they truly lack self-awareness, and they don't understand why they do the things that they do. That's a lot of people. They've been running away from themselves for so long. They don't understand why they do the things that they do, why they move the way that they move. And they don't realize a lot of times it's based off of trauma. It's based off of these survival skills that they learn. It's based off of them trying to reject who they are because they don't want to look at themselves for what they have done. But that's the only way that you ever gonna get through it, is to be real with yourself. And sometimes you gotta go back and apologize. Not just sometimes. You can try to do your best to go back and sincerely apologize to people that you did wrong, even if they don't accept it. Some people might look at you and say, "Fuck you, I ain't messing with you another day in my life," and shut that door in your face. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's what you got to do, and you got to understand that that might happen. But the fact of the matter is, you got to let your ego and your pride go enough to understand that you don't you feel like you're not powerful in that situation. But the humility is the power. But a lot of people, they miss that lesson because you understand you righting your wrongs to a certain degree. And again, just because you're righting your wrongs, just because you say sorry, it doesn't mean that other people have to accept it. But the fact of the matter is, even if they don't, you accepted it, and now, your spirit is so much lighter than what it was prior to you not saying anything, because you ain't want to be in a position where somebody has the ability to reject you. But that stems from insecurity. While a lot of people don't want other people to be in the power of position, and it's not necessarily wrong, but it's like, to a certain degree, you got to understand how to handle that and not let it take over your life. How a lot of people, and again, myself, even at one point in life, you let that stuff take over. So you don't want to apologize. You don't want to go to people. You don't want to admit the truth because you don't want to be in a position where you feel like that person has more power or they're a higher level than you. But that's what humility is, in understanding, simply because people have power over you. Simply because you apologize, simply because you move in a certain type of way, does not make it weak. The world thinks that that's weak because the world is ass backwards. The world is completely opposite of God. And you got to look at the world and truly look at the world. Do you truly want to be like the world? People have a lot of material possessions. People have a lot, and it's not bad that they do. But the damaging part about it is when they only have that, people are not fulfilled. They might have status, cars, clothes, hoes, money, and everything else. But I'm telling you, that stuff don't add up to nothing when you're not fulfilled or happy inside. That's why they got that biblical verse. What does it mean to gain the world, but in the end lose your soul? They're not just talking about when you die. You can lose your soul on earth. Your soul is that you keep on running away from yourself. So it's like, what good is all this money if I'm not happy with it? This is just blood money. A lot of people, they just use their money to just go out there and again, it's not trying to disrespect people, but a lot of people, they'll just take their money and go do stuff that makes them feel better for a temporary, you know what I'm saying? So that's what the money is for. It's just and it's not even necessarily that important for a lot of people, but it's like they want to go out there and do other stuff that makes them feel better with the money. And again, it's not wrong necessarily, but it's like, if that's the only thing, people suffer. And so you got to understand, do you really want to suffer? Do you want to go wherever God needs you to be in this life? You want to be fulfilled. You want to be happy. And sometimes you got to make sacrifices. First thing sometimes is you got to be humble enough to ask for forgiveness, understand, and be repentant about what you did to other people. And even, and apologizing to God and even to yourself. Because sometimes when people be doing that stuff, it's not like when people be disrespecting other people and they be doing people dirty. It's truly more so a reflection of the person that does the other person dirty and what they going through and the turmoil that they be going through, not the person that they did dirty. Because sometimes, like, again, I'm telling you, when you get to a point in your life, and because a lot of people, they gonna come up against you when you speaking the truth, when you real with yourself and whatever. Because a lot of people, they hate that because they ain't got it. They hate that you confident, and they hate that you are happy with yourself because they ain't got it. But again, a lot of these people, they lack self-awareness so much, they really do think that you are some type of evil in this world. The world is backwards from God. So humility is a great trait. It's a very, very powerful trait. But a lot of people in the world, they don't understand these things. And they don't understand. They don't get it. The only time that they feel good is when they destroying other people, when they talking down on other people, when they act in a certain type of way with other people, and they negative with other people. You think that a lot of these people, they feel good in the moment. They feel good in the moment. And they know what they're doing is wrong. So it's immediately after they dump all that negativity onto other people. If they're a real human, a lot of times they feel bad. That stuff is only short lived. It's like they're taking off all their evil and putting it on to somebody else. But it doesn't mean that the evil's not there. So these people got to stay in a constant cycle where they got to go be negative at everybody and try to dump all their negativity off on everybody else just so they feel good for a moment. And these people are miserable. Do you really want to live in a state of misery like this, a perpetual misery? Hell no. I know you don't. And you don't want other people to control you. The moment you know who you are, people start losing their grip and their control over you. The reason being is because you know who you are, who they, whatever tactics, people, they can't physically get you. Until I mean, some people can, but to a certain degree, people can't physically get you. The only power that people have is the illusions that they can create, the lies. That's the only power that they can create. The way that they can get people to turn. That's their power. That's the greatest, but they truly have no true power. That's why a lot of times when people trying to do negative and dirty things to you, and you got to a certain place in your life, you really don't give two rat's asses. People think that they're trying to hurt you. They'll try to take a spouse or sleep with a spouse, thinking that's gonna hurt you, not even realizing that you just let me. Do you understand that you just showed me this person was a snake? Do you not understand that you just blessed me? I can now get rid of this individual with no ounce of remorse, and then I can also get rid of you. Do you know how bad these people feel when they do stupid stuff like that? Like they thinking that they winning, and they don't. You know how a lot of these people, they snake you or they try to take a job position from you, and then you go somewhere else and get an even better job job, and then they stepped in your role. They wanted your role so much they're not even equipped, and they going through living hell, and they feel so damn stupid. They will try to do stuff to end a friendship or a relationship, try to hurt you as much as they possibly can, not even realizing that they're giving you the golden ticket to leave with no remorse. Do you know how stupid and foolish these people feel? They'll never show it because they're damn pride. So in understanding that, these people, like, they sit in even more miserable space. People that's doing that type of stuff, they so negative and mean and trying to be demeaning towards people, put other people down. They're not happy. They're not. They hate themselves. You can't. I'm telling you, I don't care what they got on the outside. People who are happy, people who are truly fulfilled, don't really care. They're not, and people who are truly confident, they don't have to tear down the next man to feel better. They don't have to talk about people to feel better. They don't have to do all these things to feel better. That stuff actually makes them feel bad about talking to people if it's not productive, or they're trying to just give positive feedback or something. They're not doing it out of a malicious manner. That stuff don't fulfill people who truly are happy and confident inside. That stuff fulfills people who are not happy or not confident, regardless of what they got on their body, what type of designer or jewelry that they got, regardless about who's laying in their bed, regardless about who come. I'm telling you, these people are not. I'm telling you, you can't let people try to get over on you. Don't let that damn devil fool you, because you'll be looking at the world like the world is having so much fun. They're not. You be looking at, like, I remember I used to look at parties that people was at, like, dang man, I wish I was there. Have you ever been to, like, I remember in college, I was like, oh man, like, look, like people be having so much fun at these parties and stuff. And then you go to the party, this party dead as hell. It's oftentimes you got to make that party fun. Other people, they just on their phone the whole damn time. It's like, dude, this party boring. And then you go up in there, and you oftentimes who start that damn party, you're going to be the party starter, not other people. It's like the people, they're just good at creating illusions about what it is. But it's not really that way. Just like the devil ain't got no damn power. The devil's greatest power is to make people think that he got power. That's the only one. There's the only one. He has no true power. So it's like, you got to understand that too. And so with that being said, your true power starts to come when you take personal accountability for your life. In the sense that, and I know a lot of people, I always say this, is like, people that'll get upset, myself included, because it's like people come up to you and say, oh man, you need to take personal accountability for your life. You need to take personal accountability for and you so darn mad, because it's like, dude, I did nothing wrong to people. I was 100% the victim in these situations. Why do I got to be the one? Because it almost feels like they're trying to put the blame on you. It's like, no, the blame is on that other individual. It's not on me. Why do I have to take personal accountability? And why are you talking to me this way and not the individual that hurt me, that came across me? I didn't deserve that. And the thing is, you didn't. But you got to understand, when some people, a lot of people, when they're talking about you got to take personal accountability, it's not the fact that they're trying to make you feel bad about yourself. It's not that they're trying to look down on you and say that you did something wrong. What they are trying to do is get you understand that, yes, that person did you dirty, but you got to understand the role that you played in the situation. You play a role in these situations, whether or not you want to admit it. Sometimes the role that you played in this situation is that you saw somebody do something, you saw red flags, but you stayed with the individual anyway. That's personal accountability, where you could have taken action. Sometimes the personal accountability is you wasn't aware or you wasn't privy to what was going on in the world or whatever. Again, it's not about condemnation. It's about understanding that in the future, Now that you have an understanding of what the world is like or what people will do, in the next scenario, you can do better. That's where the because now you have the ability to do better next time. That's the personal accountability. You have the ability to now avoid going into the same or falling into the same pitfalls that you had before, even if you was 100% of the victim. It's like, again, like when people like if you were to go to a city and you there at 2 o'clock in the morning. You really don't know the city landscape, you don't really know, but you out there at 2 o'clock in the morning after getting home from a party. And then you got a hotel up over here, right? You only in the city for a little while. You go through a certain alleyway and then you get mugged, and then you come out and you call the police, and people, and, and sometimes what the police will sit there and do is like, why did you go through that alley? Did you do something? Blah, blah, blah. And what they're trying to get at is what they're trying to gauge is like, why didn't you know not to go down that alley? Why did you go down that alley in the very, and you in your head is like, I was just trying to get back. But what they're trying to get you to understand, and sometimes what people are trying to get you to understand, is not about attacking you, but in this scenario, had you known, and again, it's not about making you feel bad. Had you known, you would have asked people, and people would be like, hey, don't ever go down that alleyway at 2 o'clock in the morning. People would be over there mugging you. People would be da bop bop. And you talk to the police. I'm 100% the victim. Why are you even remotely asking me these questions? And because it's like, you got to understand where you add the scenarios, because yes, it was not your fault that you got mugged. Yes, but it doesn't change the fact that you got mugged. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that being said, you got to take the reins and the wheel of your life, in a sense of trying to make sure that you put yourself in positions where you're not in any way, shape, or form victim or prey or vulnerable to other people. That's where the personal accountability comes in. Understanding who you are entertaining. Some people, they will do you dirty, but you got to understand your role that you played in it is that you was entertaining these people in the very first place. It might not feel good, but it's an understanding. Next time, I ain't gonna entertain certain people like this. That's where the personal accountability comes from, and that's where your power lies. You realize the mistakes that you made, even though you got mugged. You were 100% the victim. You take 100% of the accountability and understanding. Okay, next time I'm going to make sure I know where I'm at all times, who's around me, bop, 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 because you don't want that situation to happen again. People who don't take accountability, even though they were 100% the victim, they then gonna go do it again, and then they're gonna be in the exact same scenario, if not worse. Sometimes these people gonna end up dead because they didn't learn that damn lesson. And it's not to be mean, negative towards them, but it's an understanding. Nobody else is gonna give a damn about your life. People can speak up and down about how a person did you dirty, or they can talk up and down like how when you walk down there, you could have got killed. You could have got killed. And everybody knows, even that person that killed you, they know that stuff was wrong. They didn't give a damn, though. They didn't care. They did it for whatever reason that they did it. And so nobody is asked out. Everybody already know that person that killed you was wrong. Again, that person know that they was wrong, even though they might not admit it. But the fact of the matter is, it don't change the fact that you still dead. That's why personal accountability is so much important, because nobody else is going to ain't nobody else going to be in that coffin but you. Nobody. Even if that person, like, again, that person was clearly in the wrong. Don't change the fact that you did. And so you got to understand that. But when you truthful with yourself, you start to be real with yourself, you can start to break down things. People can no longer influence you in the way that they did, because you are confident and standing on the truth. You don't have to sit around and try to prove stuff to people, because that's oftentimes another way that a lot of people can get you. That's another pitfall that devil can trap you. It's because of your ego. He will intentionally send people into your life to destroy your ego. And if you are very egotistical, you're gonna be going tit for tat. You're gonna destroy yourself and the other person too. That person's a damn fool. But because your ego is involved in it, it's going over your head that this person's a fool. You so more so and focus on, I'm getting them back. I'm gonna do them worse. I'm gonna do this, bop bop. And that person, oftentimes these fools, they want you to do that. Not even if they could be setting you up, but also they might not necessarily be setting you up, but they like it because they're pulling you from your integrity. Now you have no more integrity to stand on. You were pulled into their foolishness. It doesn't matter what you do. Anything that you do to these people is that's negative. It's a positive. Even if you over there and you yelled at them and cursed them out, you think you just did it? No, they pulled you out your integrity. They were winning. They're winning. And so you got to understand that game that these playing. The way that you beat these type of people is to not give them a reaction. Is to walk away and show them what they mean to you. Absolutely nothing. That stuff breaks people down. And it's not about you over here trying to act like da da da. And you get to a point where it's like you see people for who they are, and they think that they trying to hurt you. It's like, no, you fool. You just showed me you was a snake. Bye. They don't get that part. And they feel like an ass at the end of the day. That's how you defeat these people. That's how you really get revenge on these people, is to go on in your life and be successful and leave them wherever they had you messed up at. That stuff breaks people down. But a lot of people of the world, they think they got to go tit for tat with these individuals. They think they got to back and forth with these individuals. You're going to destroy yourself. Don't even realize you're destroying yourself. That's not to say that you should let people walk all over you. That's not, I'm saying you got to pick your battles wisely. Sometimes you got to recognize that the best thing for a lot of these people is just to leave. You going back and forth with them, you're the only ones that are going to be hurting. These people love to see you in drama and going back and forth with them. This is what brings them, this is the only thing that brings them joy and fulfillment in life. Is negative interactions and toxic energy. And you so busy trying to get back at people, so busy doing that you don't even realize that these people, they sit back laughing, having a great, because your attention is focused on them. Now you dwelling in this energy with them, this negative energy, and because you're distracted too, because you're so busy focusing on these people that did you dirty, and now you spend up all your time to think and move. Now your mindset, you're crafting your mindset in a negative way just to get back at people, and people know this. That damn devil know that. That's why they would attack your ego as much as possible. It's about understanding and picking your battles. And then when you tell the truth about yourself, you ain't got to prove stuff to people. You're confident and just getting up and moving. But people who are not confident in themselves, they operate up their ego. They don't want other people to think that they weak. They don't want the person that did them dirty to think that they got away with it. So they're going to take vengeance in their own hand. And again, sometimes, yes, you can, but a lot of times God says, let me do that. Because the moment you step in that situation, you are now as guilty as the individuals that did you dirty. You failed the test. You just as guilty. And that's what these people are going to look at you as. They're going to tell other people. And again, sometimes they'll set you up with a video camera, and they can now convince everybody that you are them, that you something that you're not, when you were simply just reacting. You were simply just protecting yourself. But everybody else don't know that. And these people is winning now. And God knows that. That's why he says he going to fight your battles. Take a step back. Be humble enough to let these people think that they got one over on you. You ain't got to go back and forth. You confident enough in yourself to know that these people, you ain't got to go back and forth. You confident enough in yourself. You realize, especially, you got to understand when you're very strong, you don't really take people that are weak serious. And it's not to be disrespectful. It's like you a grown man, and then your little daughter came up to you and punched you in the leg or something like that. Are you going to go right back and hit your daughter full-fledged in her face? Some people will. Something like that. Like, no, these kids got to learn. These kids going to learn. I'm going to show her ass not to hit me. Or I'm going to show his little ass. Or your son. We can say your son. As a woman, if your daughter came, but as a son, as a man, your son came and hit you on the leg. And he's like 2 years old. You really going to sit there and go back and forth with your son and use full power on your son? No, you already know your son is childish to a certain degree. You might punish him, but at the same time, you're not about to go back and swing back on him like he a full grown man. You're not even going to remotely do that. And so it's in the same vein. Why would you do that to somebody like this? Like this, these people are miserable. They're not happy. They don't know who they are. They lie to themselves every damn day, but you don't. But that's where your confidence comes, and that's where you're grounded, where you're secure with yourself. But these people that try to make you insecure. And again, the world will try to make you insecure. And you will be until you understand that you are the one that determines, like to a certain degree, what I mean is, you got to understand your worth and your value in your own life. Yes, the world has a certain view, and you got to understand that the world has a certain view of value. So you got to take that into consideration. Again, that's another component, because if you don't, you're going to be living a life of delusion. And then you'll be wondering why your life is not going the way that you want it to be. Why is it people not looking at me and understanding my value like how I understand? Sometimes you got to understand the market of the world. But in the same vein, it doesn't change the fact that you understand your value. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change that fact. So this one is a little tricky, because you got to understand the world, and then you also got to understand yourself. You know what I'm saying? But in the same vein, you not going to necessarily care. I heard this all the time. Like, I heard some women talking about, oh man, what the standard of beauty is like this. Do you know how beautiful you are? Do you know how good you look? Do you understand your power? Do you understand? It's like, what? Who cares what other people be talking about? Do you know that? Some men, they don't understand that they are a whole grown man, and what are all these other groups of people is talking about. Do you know who you are? Why does it doesn't matter? I'm telling you, you'll get to a point in your life, and you'll get far enough, and you go through so much hell that you realize people's opinions and things of that nature doesn't matter. They don't matter. You realize that the only thing that matters a lot of times is your actions and what you can bring to the world. Respect. It doesn't matter what people got to say about you, because again, you know who you are. You know it's not true. People will sit there and lie on you. People, they trying to dump all their negativity off from themselves onto you. It's not going to matter, because you know whatever energy these people coming at you with is not you. You know that. You know who you are. You know what you did. You knew how you moved in the past. You know damn well that whatever these people is saying is a lie. You know why they coming at you in a negative way is not, it has nothing to do with you, because you don't give that to people. You don't go around do that to other people. You're not out there trying to look down on other people, trying to throw shade at other people, trying to make other people feel bad, but they do. And they're trying to make that act like that's you. They're trying to switch it and say that you think you better than somebody. They're trying to switch it and act like you, and you think that you are all high and mighty and blah blah blah, all this crazy stuff. When you know damn well that's not who you are. You know your actions. You took enough accountability. You revised yourself, and you saw who yourself in different scenarios and situations. You'll realize that these people coming at you for some type of reason that has nothing to do with you. And truthfully, it doesn't really matter. You'll be very much easier to cut people off and remove negative situations about your life quicker and much more confidently. You'll be like, because I'm telling you, when you get to a place and God give you peace and God show you who you are and God give you validation, you're not trying to give up that peace for nobody. And you look at people, I don't give a damn near who they are. You look, if they are a human being on this earth, if they're human on this earth or whatever, you look at them dead in their face and say, I will drop your ass like a hot tamale. You're done in my life, and you don't care. You walk off in the other direction and lead these people to whatever they're talking about. You ain't got to go back and forth with people. You can focus on what you need to do in life. You know how much that breaks people down. People want you to care, but you don't, because you know what they're saying is lies. You know that these people, again, it's like the illustration with your child. You know this is like your child hitting you. You know it's like it's because of what is going on inside that person. It has nothing to do with you. They're just trying to act like it's got something to do with you. Now you're going to start to move yourself into certain scenarios and situations. You know what you did in the past to others, and so you know how you've made strides to actually do good in the world and try to be better. So you know, and you've already exposed. Sometimes it's also, you ain't got to do all this, but sometimes you can even expose what you have done in the past that you might have been shamed for. I ain't saying that's all the time, but I'm saying people will use this stuff against you. So it's like the 8 Mile rule with Eminem and that dude, that the people that he was going up against. The moment that you actually accept who you are and you say it and you real with yourself and you're not afraid and you're not like, you understand that that's your journey, that's what happened in your life, people can't use that against you. They have no power. They have no power whatsoever over you. And now you take personal accountability. Now that you understand that you are not the cause of a lot of these problems, because you've done reflection, you've been trying to work on yourself, you've been doing your best to try to figure out what to do with this person that's coming at you in a negative manner. And when you've gone through all of that after a short period of time, you're so much more confident to understand and realize this ain't not it, whatever this interaction with me and this people or this these situations ain't got nothing to do with me. I think it has absolutely nothing. And so now, in terms of what you do next, is you can now take personal accountability, even though you're not doing any wrong. You understand you cannot have toxic things around you. It's just like you in your house. Maybe a burglar or somebody, maybe even your dog, pooped up on the floor. Now it smells terrible. You didn't do it, but now you know you have to take personal accountability, whether or not you did it, and clean it up. Because if you don't, you will start to ignore it, and then your whole house smell like smell like it. And even then, sometimes you ignore it so much that people walking in it now you got tracks of this poop all over the place in your house. But you get to a point where you realize, you know what, I didn't do it wrong, but I got to take personal accountability and understanding that I shouldn't have never let that dog in my house in the very first place, or I should have never let you, whatever, whatever. And then you're gonna clean it up more than likely, remove it, and then now you're going to do a different step to ensure that it doesn't happen again. That's your personal accountability. That's your power. That is, you truly have power at that moment. Your truth, when you keep it real with people, you keep it real with yourself, that's your power. When you're not afraid of what people are gonna say about you, because you realize you get to a point in your life, it don't matter. You might sometimes go through seasons in your life where you literally trying to be everything for everybody. You try to be super humble, super kind, super this, super that, and you'll realize in time people still will have problems with you. They still got a problem with you. You going out your way to help people. You going out your way to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Still got a problem with you. God will get in that, and I'm telling you, when you get to that pit seasons, and then you about to get up out that pit, He'll come down there and show you. Look, I told you. You like it doesn't. You see these people treating you this way, and they're trying to claim that you all these things, and you're not. You're not even acting that way. They're acting that way. You're not acting that way, but they're trying to claim it's you, and that's the way that they can keep you bounded because you don't know who you are, and sometimes you don't want to go through the truth and see who people who are for who they really are, not who you want them to be. Again, some of the people that you never want to suspect is that way. And as long as you keep denying it, you're gonna deny it over here, you're gonna deny it over there, you're gonna deny it in the world, and you're gonna keep on going through hell because of that reason, because you're denying the truth about what their situations and the reality of your life and who people are in your life, who they truly are, not who you want them to be, and who you truly are, and not who you want yourself to. You can aspire to do better, but you still got to start somewhere. And understand this too, when you start, it's going to be hard because sometimes you be in that shame and you feel like, I always get this illustration. Sometimes it's like you don't know how to read. You a grown adult and you don't know how to read, and that's embarrassing. And it's sometimes a lot of people, it'd be so embarrassing to admit that they don't know how to read. It's so embarrassing that they run away from it. They're shameful that they don't know how to read. And if anybody even try to insinuate that they dumb or whatever, they'll go off the handle because it's a wound that they're running away from because they don't know how to read. And the thing is, they're so shameful that they never start. They're shameful to ask for help that they never start. But oftentimes this is what you got to understand. Sometimes the worst part is the anxiety of starting. It's the anxiety of going. You know, that's the worst part because what you start to realize is you admit to yourself, you know what, I can't read. I can't read. But you start to look, okay, well, what do I know how to do? I know how to do my alphabet. So if you know how to do your alphabet and you know how to do like, these regular sight words, what you can start doing is going over the small basics and then keep on doing that. And then now you can advance to like first grade books. Then you can probably potentially start advancing to second grade or fifth grade, then elementary. And then in a year, you realize that, dang, last year you didn't know how to read. Now you're reading at a sixth grade level. In 1 year, you was running away from this for so long. And now in 1 year, you went from not knowing how to read to now you can read at a sixth grade level, and then you keep on keeping up with that pace. Now you at a sixth grade level. Next year you at a high school level. You jumping all these levels. Now that you read at a high school level, now the next year you reading at a collegiate level. Now you can take these tests. Now in 3 years, you went from not knowing how to read to now being at a collegiate level, even potentially starting to go into a field where you can do that. You can use your, reading skills. I don't know, but whatever. But you have more confidence in like doing other things, and now you're not as afraid anymore to do things in life. Why? It's because you know how to. You may not know how to read complete, but you know how to do a little bit, and it just took you just taking one doggone step in a positive direction. It took one step of faith, one step of like of letting go of the fear and letting go of what people are gonna think about you and being real with yourself that you don't know how to read. That's daunting. It's like you looking up at the start of everything. It's like you looking up and you see you got to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and sometimes just looking at climbing the whole mountain, it's like too much for people. So sometimes it's just, but what a lot of people will do, and this is what you should a lot of times in life do, sometimes you just got to start. Sometimes you just got to go get a pickaxe and just start climbing. And I'm telling you, in time you won't even realize You was like, dang man, it's gonna take so long. Sometimes you be so busy and so focused on like getting better that you look up and you like damn near halfway there. And you're like, what? And it didn't take as much time, energy, and effort that it did. And I'm not saying that was about Kilimanjaro, but I'm saying it's actually like, wow, I was so scared for so many years of this, and look how far I am in just a short period of time. So, but that's the power of keeping it real with yourself. That's the power. And now you can start to see people for who they are. You can see your situations, and now you can begin to heal. And now that you can begin to heal, you can begin to go what you out to do what you know you need to do in this world. God there now, and now you can be more fulfilled. Now you understand toxic relationships, and so now you're going to avoid toxic relationships, toxic interactions, and you're not going to put up with that stuff for long if you see it. Now you're going to choose healthier partners. Now you're going to choose healthier relationships and situations and things of that nature. You're going to start to remove negative people who bring you down, regardless of who they are. If they're a human being on this earth, they're going to get it if they're not positive in your life. Every human being, because you realize it's not about a person's flesh, it's about their spirit. And if they fear their spirit is going against God, they're against you, period. And so now it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like you look in the flesh, you're looking at them one way, but in the spirit, you see what it is. And that's what you gotta pay attention to. Because regardless of what their flesh is, that don't mean that they damn their spirit will get their flesh to kill you. A lot of people, they don't even get what I'm talking about, but them damn demons will kill you. Cain killed Abel, did he not? People will kill you for those reasons of jealousy, envy, this. If their spirit ain't right, I don't give a damn who they are. They could be your closest, the closest y'all got the same blood, they'll still kill you. That don't mean nothing. Y'all could have been together since childhood. You know, you just could have been day one. This person right here, your friend, could have been there, but they got that wrong spirit, and you got the difference. They'll kill you. They'll take you out. It don't matter. So that's why you got to look at the person's spirit rather than their damn flesh. And you'll understand what I'm talking about in time when I say that. You understand that you got a positive nature and you just getting negative from people. You understand that they ain't got nothing to do with you. It's got a lot more to do with who they are. And it's so much easier to start to remove them out your life because you realize that these people ain't got your best interests at heart, regardless of what sweet words that they trying to come back with, regardless of what they trying to say, regardless of all that stuff. And now you have the wisdom to start to navigate out there in the world in a much more better and productive manner. It's not to say that you ain't gonna have bad days, but you got confidence that you happy and you don't need people around you. And when you don't need people around you and you do not rely on everybody to meet your needs, now you'll have your life is so much peaceful because you're so much willing to release things that do not serve you, that's negative towards you. And that's what you'll start to realize in time, that a lot of situations that you're entertaining, the reason why you feel so bad is because of the people that's around you. But you're in a broken space and you don't understand this. But the reason being, and you don't have that confidence that you're supposed to, is because of people around you. People around you, they will intentionally try to break you down and remove your confidence. They do that stuff on purpose. It's not accidental. It's very much purposeful. But they'll try to claim it's just you. But you'll be able to see better. You'll be able to move better, and you'll be happier in your life. You'll be much more peaceful in your life. You don't have to worry about the negativity and the world views of the world, because you already know that the world is ass backwards and they do not know what they're talking about. You ain't trying to be over there, whatever, but you already know what it is. You humble enough to understand that you ain't gotta have the last word. You humble enough to understand that you ain't gotta go back and go tit for tat with people. You humble enough to understand that the best revenge that you can get on people is to move forward in life and be happy and not give a damn about them. That's your great. You ain't even gotta lift a finger, and they destroy their damn self. So with all that being said, keep it real with yourself if you don't keep it real with nobody else. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.